What's going on, guys? Back on the air now. This is going to be quick. And let's see here. It's going to be a quick show tonight. Going to knock it out real quick. Uh, Let me see here. Why is my. It's going to be a real quick show tonight, guys. The streaming is just all messed up. I don't know if YouTube keeps changing shit, if I'm changing shit, or what, but things just keep changing. And this is episode 32, and it's just messing up everything. Episode 32, show penny stocks and show times. Options and show times. What's going on, Robert Gomez? So let me go ahead and update this real quick. So we're gonna have a quick show tonight, guys. Um, I'm not gonna be doing a show every day anymore. I'm gonna be limiting a little bit things. So things are gonna be slowing down. Cause, ladies and gentlemen, no pun, but as I said on last week's show, I'm trying to get my life back. So uh, we're gonna go once a week, which is gonna be Wednesdays from 8 till 10 p.m. So it's be a nice little show. Even this show tonight is going to be short, get to the point and sweet. While I get on, because I have to go out tonight. Okay. What's going on, David K? Let's see here. TheStreet.com. Biggest gainers. What was up today? Shout out to everybody who took advantage of the pump this week, this Monday rather, of GPIW. So GPIW ran nice little pump. I mean, when they told me about it, I honestly thought they would generate a lot more volume than that. They supposedly had all these guys that were working on it, and come to find out, I'm feeling like I was just maybe like one of like three guys who was in it. I don't know if the other people didn't run it or what, but I kind of felt like it was just like one of three people who was running that promo for GPIW. So I don't know what that was about, but anyway, I had mentioned to you guys last week I was going to do a promo on Monday, and they had wanted me to buy into the stock. I didn't buy in. And like I said, for me, they want it to be a 2 week thing, but man, as soon as I looked at it and it was a Japanese company and they don't really have an American product, it's like, but anyway, some really great stuff is supposed to be coming out of the company here really soon. So keep following GPIW. So we'll see what happens to that stock. So we'll see what happens with that stock. GPSN, man, that was a pretty good one. Oh, we got Treasure Hunter on the phone. Treasure Hunter, what's good, man?
No, much up, man. What's happening with you, cousin?
Hey, man, just chilling in here, but back on the show, back on the
Aw
grind.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I didn't catch you last week's show. I don't know was you was on the air yesterday or whatnot.
No, I was not on the air yesterday. Yesterday was my day off, man. After I made that money with that promo, 5 G's to send out one email. So, I mean, I wanted to take a day off and count my money. So,
Shit, I
uh,
don't blame you. I don't
but
blame you on that right there.
but other than that, man, yeah, just
For
chilled
sure,
out.
for sure.
But yeah, but what you been looking at, Treasure Hunter, on the markets?
Shoot. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Ever since the blind man called a while ago about the PTX,
Yeah.
I jumped in them. I think it was like 94 cents, and then he dropped. No, 94 cents. Then he went up to $1.03. So I tried to be greedy and didn't know how far he was going to go up.
Hmm.
So then he dropped, like crazy in the 75s, right?
Yeah.
So, I've been checking. I got like 13 different things going on, right, with the, with tickers.
Yeah.
So I noticed PTX was like kept rocking up there. I'm like, damn, so I checked out, see what the hype was about, and I think it says what was I forget the guys that the hype up the thing. I
Hmm.
think it supposed to say it was like a $9 stock. It's supposed to be in this and that. So from a dollar, I think from a dollar, almost $1 stock, it's probably gonna be climbing up there at the penny stock range. So I
Hmm.
was gonna ask you to, look into that to see, what I'm saying, like, what's up? It's gonna be at the penny stock range, the PTX, like, it's blowing up.
Yeah, I mean, it could Skype, skip like that again. I mean, if you saw what happened earlier this, last week with PTX, that was based on no news at all. That was just basically guys who, got hyped up about the play for 2 days and it ran, but it got to $1 and people were like, oh, okay, let me get the hell up out of here, and it kind of came, crashing back down.
Yeah.
So the way it
Matter of
end,
fact,
yeah, I mean the way it ended today was really nice and strong over that strong move, but we'll see if it can hold it. The problem with PTX is that when it runs, it doesn't really hold the price, and that's been the biggest
yeah,
problem with PTX is that it'll go up, but it's got to stay up, and that's the biggest problem with the stock.
yeah, get it to stick kind of thing.
Yeah.
True
So.
that, true that. Hey, I was gonna say the Friday episode, man, that shit was off the chain. I was waiting for you to do a Tim Sites, take your Rolex off and throw it against the wall or something like that.
Nah, hell no, man. Yeah,
I see the
hey,
niggas got you hot.
yeah, I mean that's Friday show. I love Friday show because I get to relax and just we talk about stocks, we talk about everything under the sun. So I
Yeah,
prefer Friday shows, and that's why it's going to be like a Wednesday kind of Friday thing,
yeah,
Wednesday and Friday. Because I prefer something a little bit more relaxed, a little more laid back.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I
it's
mean, you gotta
yeah,
cool down. So I
yeah,
mean, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah,
like keep
yeah,
grinding and grinding.
sure.
Even the mood starts with a little break once in a while.
Right, right. So appreciate the call though, Treasure Hunter.
Well, yeah, my hat's off to you, cousin. And yo, I like the hat too, man. Shit's
Oh,
fat.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, man. You do.
All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's Treasure Hunter. I'm surprised he didn't bring up any stocks, because he usually, well, he brought up PTX. He brought up PTX, and PTX is a good play. I like PTX because it has so much running, ability, and it has shown its ability to run. I mean, if you look at PTX throughout the 1 year chart, if you look at a 1 year chart of PTX, it will find an opportunity to run. You will just look at the 1 year chart, you'll just see hills, just boom, 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 gap ups, and then drops. And that's the problem with the stock is that it will run, but it's got to stay up there. So PTX is definitely for people who are really good with the trigger finger, and if you're invested in the play, you've got to be able to read that chart, and once you see like a wall is developing, get the hell up out of there. Get the hell up out of there. What's going on, Adam? Zero. Connor, what's going on? Yeah, Connor, it's going great with options, man, and I'm learning a lot when we talk about options. And speaking of options, Tasty Trade has a website called Doe.com, and Doe.com has a course that you can take where it's basically stock options explained. And by far, okay, I downloaded the 9-hour DVD, all that. This course is by far the best, well put together course on options. I mean, they've got 3 levels to it. I think it's actually more than 3 levels. It's several levels. I'm on level 3. And there are little clips that you can take your notes and you just kind of it's called Step Up to Options with Rachel Fox. and another guy on Tasty Trade. And let me post you guys the link. It is a great course. I absolutely love it. I think you guys should definitely join up. And here it is in the chat room. Go ahead and click that. It's really great program. Really great program. Astro, what's going on? He's talking about HTBX. HTBX. Damn, okay, that was nice. HTBX showed up today. That was what was that, an earnings winner? Or what was that about? Or was it just a stock that was just ready to move? Yeah, it looks like it was just ready to move because earnings were. Was it just ready to move or what? HTBX launching up out of nowhere. Yeah, Cinco, definitely check it out. Yeah, the course is free. The course is free. It's just little movies you watch. And Connor, it might be a little more a little bit behind for you, but for someone who's never traded options before, it's just really good, really good. And right now, I'm virtual trading on Options Express. But Connor, I want you to go look at this website that's called, and it's going to be my new option broker. It's called eoption.com. I might even use them for stocks down the road. eoption.com. Go look at some of those prices though, bro. The prices they have over there are ridiculous. 15 cents per option contract, $3 per stock or option trade. 772, what's going on?
All right, Sal, you got me. I didn't want to let the cat out the bag because usually when I do,
Uh-huh.
my stocks usually go AWOL. You said I haven't talked about stocks. I'm really thinking about going hard and heavy in TWTR. I'm thinking,
TWTR. Okay.
yeah, thinking it might be another, big time Facebook because Facebook's all played out now.
Okay.
And I mean, it ain't a penny play, but it can have I can say, the opportunity to blow up there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying for 20, almost like $20, I'm saying it's worth it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, I
So
mean Twitter
what do you think
Twitter
about
yeah,
it?
Twitter is not, people like to say Twitter is dead and Twitter is this and that, but Twitter is still a very powerful social media platform, man. And Twitter
I'm,
right now at 1868, they're trying to break out there. If you look at a 6 month
I'm
chart of Twitter, it's at a breakout point right now. So
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's good for at least another dollar or
yeah,
$2 out the thing.
yeah, yeah,
Get it for 18, you might get it 20.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
don't know.
No,
That's
no,
why I'm thinking about a little underdog play.
yeah, you're right. You're right, man. And it's right at resistance. So Twitter could
Yeah,
be that thing, and it's so crazy because they started off the month, it gapped down, but it worked its way back up. So for Twitter, toward the end of last month to now, it's been a rocket ship, man. So
yeah. Because I'm thinking, fuck Facebook for what was it, almost 100 and something. I could get like what 5 Twitter shares
yeah,
for the price of the Facebook,
that's true.
and we can probably make more
That's true.
on 5 shares versus that one.
That's true. That's true. I mean, when
Yeah.
you look at Twitter, yeah, you can see there's definitely a bargain there, especially if it breaks this resistance price. Now, Facebook is nothing to to joke about either because Facebook. When I look at that chart, that's a pretty nice chart.
Well,
But
yeah, that is a nice chart, but you got to think, what I'm saying, 100 something bucks, that
yeah,
shit
that's
goes
true.
down. I
That's true.
mean, you're like done. That's
Hmm.
one of the mistakes I made when I first started in the game.
Hmm.
You know,
No.
let me see. From one of the first videos, like I said, I invested in, I ain't gonna lie, it was Disney World, and
Hmm.
then they did all that shooting, then the stocks went down
Yeah.
tremendously. So I ejected quick. I'm glad I did because ever since then, never picked back up.
Right.
So no, now that's why it got me started on your show, the penny stocks. so
Yeah.
I don't have to get the high dollar stock. And when the shit goes down, so like you don't got to go as big.
Yeah.
So when it goes down, you don't got to worry about it.
That's true. That's true. No,
You know,
no, you're exactly right. I mean, when you go big on these more expensive stocks, when they do go down, yeah, you get hurt. I mean,
right?
you get hurt. A $2, $3 loss over, a couple hundred shares will add up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Whereas 2 or 3 cents, but
yeah,
if you overtrade a penny stock, that can hurt you too.
yeah. About
Uh,
the same.
but I definitely get what you're saying though. Definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, true that. But yeah, that's one dog play right there, man. TR. I was thinking about.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call.
You got it, bro.
All right, so guys, yeah, I mean, TWTR. Twitter is usually not a company that would be in my scope of vision, but it's had a pretty nice chart. It's had a pretty nice chart. It had that gap down. It had that gap down just before, just after earnings. It gapped down, but it's made its way back, very very strong. So it's right back where it used to be. Right back where it used to be. It's definitely not what it was, late last year at $31. But if it breaks resistance here, which looks like resistance is exactly that 1868 price, um, who knows how far it could go back up? Who knows how far it can go back up? No, apps was not discussed. Apps was not discussed. Um, Let me see here. When apps announced earnings today, I like the fact that the revenue's up. That's great news. But it's such a mixed bag because apps is a stock that people they're waiting for it to kill it. Like just deliver good news. Just deliver it the way that people want it to see. And it's up. Let me see here. After hours. What's the after hours quote? Yeah, it doesn't even have an after hours quote. So I don't know. It's one of those. It's such a mixed bag, and that's what's so frustrating about stocks, man. This is one of those companies that it needs a clear win. Just deliver a clear win. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you gotta cut back on staff or do what you gotta do to deliver a clear win. But this idea of, well, and I listened to the whole podcast. It was like, oh well, $24 million in revenue. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet earn. I'm like, come on, man, come on, deliver. So apps is a situation where now you just gotta wait and see what happens tomorrow. You gotta wait and see what happens tomorrow with apps and how the market is gonna take it. You know, but it's pretty much at support, so I don't expect it to crash. I don't expect it to do anything silly like that. I just don't expect it to be as high as it could have been. That because the market was waiting for it, man. It was just really waiting for it, and that's just so frustrating about stocks. Very frustrating about stocks. Yes, I'm in apps. I'm in apps. I am definitely in apps. What's going on, Bill Betts? I started at 8. Going quick show today, 8 to 10. So quick show today. Gale, let me see here. Gale is one of those stocks too that's ready to run, but it's got to deliver. You know, it's got to deliver. Gale is over. Is 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 it's got to just explode now. When we talk about Gale, if you're in the stock, I wouldn't fear or fret because you're waiting for the stock to do something, and it's going to do something. 561, what's up?
Hey, sir, how are you?
Doing good. Who am I speaking
Good.
with?
I'm just calling in. I just want to shout out two plays, the RNVA and
RNVA?
also, yes, RNVA and also Apple.
Okay. RNVA and Apple. And who am I speaking with, by the way?
Tracy.
Okay, Tracy, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Um, so RNVA, but yeah, going back to Gale real quick on Gale. Um, if you're in Gale, just chill out because it's going to do something. It's well overdue for something, but that's got to happen, man, because so many people have been sitting in Gale for so long now. They're getting frustrated. The stock looks like it's frustrated when it's got these fake little pumps throughout the chart. Going into Tracy's RNVA, nice play. I mean, it's up. It's got some momentum people in there. As you can see, it broke out here on the first last week, so it's built up its position now from 23 to 37. Now, what exactly is an RNVA? Let me go and see. Look real quick. RNVA. What do they exactly do? RNVA provides diagnostics, supportive software solutions to healthcare providers. All right, so they're a software solutions company or software as a service business. All right, yeah, very strong volume, 8 million today. Typically, 3-month average is 1.5. So up on very strong volume after hours. They're up about a penny for RNVA. Have they already delivered earnings already, or when are they expecting earnings? Does anybody in the chat room know? What's going on, Bovage, Mag? What's going on? Let me see. StockEarning.com. Let me see what they got for RNVA. RNVA. All right, they're saying, okay, so it's confirmed August 15th, 6 days. All right, so yeah, RNVA 6 days till earnings. Yeah, it could deliver something. We'll see. 37 cents a share. It's definitely a stock that's been beat up. And back in June, this was a $1 a stock company. So, well, anywhere between 70 cents. It did hit $1 though in June. In June, it did hit $1, and just seemed to have left or lost its luster. But this time last year we were talking about a God. Wow. Okay. So this time last year we were talking about a $19 stock. Obviously, it's nowhere near what it used to be, but it kind of speaks to what it has done in the past. But this companies like this, they're at that price for a reason. So this is a really great swing, in my opinion. So just swing with it, man. You know, last month it fell off in July, so it's kind of working its way back up there. So you ride it up. I mean, ride it up back to where did it fall off at? 55, 56 cents. Might go higher. Why not? You know, why not? It's a momentum play, pure momentum. So I don't see anything bad in that chart. I don't see anything bad in that chart. I would keep watching it though. Keep watching it. You know, at the end of the day, it's still a 37 cent stock. Yeah, Apple's going to be Apple. So Apple's going back to its recent highs, back up to that 112 where it fell off at 112. Um, you know, Apple is one of those stocks you can't really, be afraid of. 404, what's going on with you?
Hey, what's up, Sam?
What's going on?
This is Mike here.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Um, I just got a question, man. I know you're a smart and inquisitive person.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, how do you play your earnings play? Like, I mean, I'm still relatively new. I've been doing it for about 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still trying to get a feel for how to play. The earnings.
Okay.
That's where you get your big movement. So,
Yeah.
what do you do to prepare for earnings?
Well, if it's a stock that, it depends on when I find the stock. So if I find the stock, earnings are, let's say, in a month or two, um, and it's at such a depressed price where I feel like I can stay in and be willing to ride whatever waves develop, like a situation like apps. I made a video about apps when it was at $1, and it's going up, it's going down, but I've pretty much stayed in it, sold a little bit, bought a little bit, but I'm in it.
Okay.
It's one of those stocks where I'm in it for the long run because I've gotten it so cheap. So
Right.
it,
Right.
it, it depends on when you find it. Now, if you find a stock and it's playing earnings in 4 or 5 days, just wait till the day before, get in a position, and play earnings. Now, you have to do the research to prove that you believe it's going to win on that earning day,
Right.
or at
Of
least
course.
be successful. You know what I'm saying? Because you can either play it both ways. You can short it, or which is it is dangerous. Shorting it is dangerous too. But you can as well buy in, the day before. But typically, it depends on when I find the stock. I would like to hold a position at a very cheap price into earnings, or if I find it pretty late, I just wait until the day before, have a nice little, a safe position moving into the next day, and
Right.
then, depending on what comes out, I try to look at pre-market, grabbing some stocks there if it's tradable pre-market, or after the big gap up, typically if it's good news, then playing the bounce and trying to ride the bounce back up. So,
Right, because
yeah,
I get burnt in pre-market. That's why I get burnt every time. Like
yeah,
I try to get in pre-market, and then a lot of times once the market open, it hits that big dip down, and
hmm
I'm
yeah,
trying to learn to play, watch the momentum, seeing which way the trend is going
yeah.
before I jump out there with my head off.
Right, right. See,
So
that's
that's one.
yeah, and that's
I,
what you don't want to do is if you seeing yourself getting burned at pre-market because you're buying too high, just wait till you know it's going to spike up, right? It's going to spike up. People have already got some orders in for it to hit a certain price, and that's what happens. It spikes up and it comes right back down because you got some people who have, hey, if it crosses, 130, sell 25,000 shares.
right, right, right.
So it'll hit that price, and then all of a sudden it drops back down because all this volume just showed up for sale all of a sudden. So
Yeah, yeah.
then I would be like, okay, let's play the bounce. Where are we going to end up at to go back up? Because now that news travels, and then new investors, new momentum come, and now I want to play that bounce going up, and I want to see where the wall is and where that bottom is, and try to
Right.
get in that
So
way.
like when they hit that dip, that bounce.
hmm
Is it? Are you looking for like a channel, like where it's going, just sort of stagnant, just sort of going across? It's not really going anywhere, and you just sort of
Um,
like the momentum. It's
No,
sort of
not
flat. Just
right. Yeah, no, not necessarily. I'm just looking for support. I'm just looking for support.
well,
When it hits a bottom, I'm looking for support at that price. If I feel like
okay,
it's
okay,
gonna, hold that price, I'm in. So,
okay. I got you.
I'm just looking for a price where the market says we're not allowing the stock to go down below this level. And as it works its way back up, now of course, you're gonna run into some selling and whatnot, but that's when you're just calm enough, right? Because you're not going big to where you're so scared and watching the ticker every, 2 seconds.
Right.
But you just allow the chart to develop. And as you watch the chart develop, then you're seeing, okay, we have momentum. It's on our side. There are a little bit of dips, but we're going in the right direction.
I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. All right. Thank you, Sam. Man,
Not
I
a problem, man.
appreciate that.
All right, bro.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, get in the day before. If you can't get in the day before, if you can get a good price in pre-market, and you can set pre-market orders. You don't have to get the pre-market price. Just put in a order, a limit order at a stupid price. Maybe you can grab a couple hundred shares or two or whatever. You don't just try something. You know, but if that doesn't work, let the stock open up. It's going to open up high and it's going to come right back down and then go in from there. Go in from there. But obviously, that's the situation you want to make sure that the news is good. The news is good. There's momentum, higher than average volumes coming in. That level two is slapping. You just watching the level two and it's slapping. That's why you want to get that Tim Sykes torrent. Learn level two. I don't know if you've got that torrent or not. Go grab that torrent. Learn level two. He talks exactly about that. What exactly I just said. Playing that bounce play after earnings, watching level 2 for support, identifying walls, okay, identifying walls and potential resistance. It's all on that DVD, Learn Level 2 with Tim Sykes. I'm going to post that in the chat room for you guys. Learn how to use level 2 quotes. Yep, that's the way. So if you guys know how to use torrents, one moment here. So I put that in the chat room. What's going on, Miss Petaway? Bruce, Keon, Eddie, Adam, of course. King Musa, what's going on? So I put that in the chat room to that Learn Level 2 DVD with Tim Sykes. So that's a really good DVD that shows you exactly how to play, runners, earnings, gap up spikes. Really good DVD for that. Learn Level 2. And these DVDs, you don't just watch them one time, guys. You got to recycle them. I'm constantly watching these over and over because you're going to pick up things. And then not only that, but you've got to really download the information to your mind. So it's not just watching it one time and like, yeah, I watched that DVD. Nah, these DVDs are like, Bibles, really. They're like Bibles. You're constantly studying the information and getting it down. Constantly studying the information and getting it down. All right. There's an excellent book in that book one that we book torrent that I started this weekend. Pattern recognition and what was the title? Pattern recognition and trading decisions by Chris Satchel. Really great book, man. Really great book. You guys might want to look at that. And that's in that torrent penny stock. I mean, options and stock traders books. Do I know of any good Canadian penny stocks? No. I mean, we don't. I don't really know anything about the Canadian stock market, my friend. Sorry about that. But I mean, you being in Canada, I mean, you can trade on the U.S. markets. Why would you want to trade on the Canadian stock market? It's very low volume, and it doesn't really run like ours. The volume in Canada is horrible on some of those stocks. When you're looking at Canadian stocks, like 120,000 is like, in volume, that's like good. That's like a good thing over there. That's just too slow. Too damn slow. Way too damn slow. Yeah, but most Canadian brokers will let you play on, and I think E-Trade lets like Canadians, right? E-Trade or TD, one of them has got to let Canadian people join. Look at one of those, or Trade King or something like that. One of the big, brokers has got to let Canadian people, one of them. One of them, I'm sure. Let's see what else was good today. GBSN is a stock that we've seen in the chat room before. Anybody in that play? GBSN? Don't know much about it, but I have seen it here in the chat room. That's kind of a stock that fell off last year. Just kind of basically took a, and it's been pretty much just crashing. I mean, that's a horrible chart for GBSN. But it looks like it's found some kind of bottom here, and it's going back up in a different direction. So let's see if that's real. Let's see if that's real, because it's done it before at this price level. So be very careful here at GBSN, because it's definitely tried it before. Last week, in fact, if you look at last week's chart in GBSN, there was resistance right at 36, and it was like, hell no, and got the hell up back down. 850, what's up?
Hey, this is Shamika. How you doing, Sal?
Hey, doing good. What's going on with you?
Hey, late getting into this show, I wasn't sure if you talked about options or not.
Yes, we discussed a little bit about options, but I mean, how are you feeling about it? I mean, I'm sure you looked at it a little bit this weekend.
I did. I didn't get to study it as much as I wanted to, but what I do know so far, it's very versatile, and I like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like what I see so far. How do
yeah.
you feel?
I like it too, and I gave away a link to another training course. That's not a one to download. It's one on a website that I think
Hmm.
was even better than the DVD that I gave you guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that link out right after this call. But
Cool.
I like the idea of being able to use even smaller amount of money to control a large position.
Yes.
So I like the fact that an options is not necessarily about the stock price as much as it the price of the option.
Mhm.
So that has been something to get used to because when I'm simu trading right now, just working on
Mhm.
a simulator with Option Express, and then I'm buying these options,
Uh
and
huh.
I'm finding myself going back to look at the stock price when I really should be looking at the price of the option. So
Okay.
there's a lot to learn. It's definitely a little bit more complicated. It is more complicated than trading stocks. It is.
Mhm.
People say it's easier. It's not easier. It's a little bit more complicated. Uh,
Absolutely.
and because you can buy a call, buy a put, then you can sell a call, sell a put, and then you can
Mhm.
buy a call, buy a put. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot more, complicated. And so many things. So I'm deciding that right now all I'm learning to do is how to buy a call, how to buy a put. That's all I'm
Right.
learning right now. So
Right.
you just got to learn options and steps. That's what I'm figuring out. That's how
Yes.
to learn this thing because it's definitely a lot more complicated and also it's got a longer time horizon. Um, you've got to be you can definitely shorten it up, but it seems like you risk a lot more the shorter you go. Whereas the longer horizon, it works a little bit more in your favor, and you got a more higher chance of being successful.
Right. Right.
So yeah, definitely a lot to learn with options. Definitely.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
don't give up on it because I'm doing it too. So,
Oh
and
no,
I'm doing
not at
just
all. Appreciate it. Definitely, definitely.
yeah.
We'll stick to it.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you, Miss Petaway.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah. So I gave away that DVD last week. It's a 9-hour DVD on options, and I watched it. I watched it this weekend. A lot of information. Watched about 3 hours of it because I couldn't take it all at one time. I don't like to do that. But I watched 3 hours of it, and that's basically like it's got like 5 videos. That's like one and a half, and I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. They really do a good job of presenting it. Um, but I have this other website that I think that you guys need to see, and that is that Doe.com course on options by Rachel Fox called Step Up to Options with Rachel Fox. And it's put in a very fun kind of, really interesting way. They really, they keep the videos short and to the point, and they do a really great job of teaching you. And it's several different lessons on, trading basics when it comes to stock options. So let me give that course to you guys here. Okay, so the first part talks about, let me see, the first part talks about, let me see here, a little bit about stocks, but as you go into that second page, you'll definitely see the value in it. So let me go ahead and put that in the chat room for you guys. Let me put that in the chat room for you guys. There you go. There you go. Real Ink says RAP. Is that a ticker? WRAP. OTC. That's an OTC play. Yeah. I don't have anything against OTC guys. I just pumped the OTC this week. But just the volume is just when you I mean look at all these gaps in the price. I mean when you see gaps in a price in a ticker, right? When you see gaps, that's when that there's literally no no buying within the stock. No buying within the stock. No buying or selling. Okay, no action. That represents gaps. 206, Mr. Lloyd, welcome back to the show,
What's
sir.
up? What's up? What's up, man? I'm sitting here in the hotel right now with the laptop fired up, and
Okay, okay.
the problem is, man, since I'm so new to the game, I shouldn't take so much time away because you do forget over a period of time.
Mm.
But definitely, I'm so excited about stocks more than ever right now,
Yeah.
and what I've been learning is candlestick patterns and spotting reversals and stuff like that. So I think I've gained enough knowledge, and it's not. I mean, you can always learn. There's always room for growth, but right now I'm finding myself in a situation, and as you remember, I was up $5,000.
Yeah, yeah. Now
So so
I did notice, Lloyd, that your stock INNV, and we mentioned you last week on the show. We were like, man, I really hope he got out of that stock because we were so happy that you had such a
yeah.
big win. I mean, update us. Did you get out the stock, or I mean, what's
No,
going on?
no, no. I did not get out the stock because I've been in it for so long. I know how the stock fluctuates, and I was waiting for earnings to come out to kind of to decide whether to get out or not. So
Right.
earnings came out today. I'm a little skeptical. I mean, I'm not skeptical because I don't know enough about the SEC files. Remember, I told you I'm only studying the candlestick charts, and the type of plays I like doing now is plays with no news because
Yes.
it's based on technicals only.
Right.
So with this INNV, it's playing with my emotions a little bit, and I'm trying not to be an emotional trader, but because I got so much money invested into this, I put in a stop loss at 48 cents just at the close today. So it's at 48.5 now. INNV has a positive cash flow of 1.2 million, but the problem is and you have to look if you can look at the SEC file. I don't know if you can look at it real quick, but you probably
Yeah,
have to take
yeah,
some time to
yeah.
look over it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I see the Q2 financial results. All right, so yeah, net revenues were good, but I do see it did have a net loss though of a little bit under 5 cents a share. But you know what though? Like, it's this is so crazy because we just talked about this with apps where you had a company beat revenues, but overall it did have a net loss. And these are situations where you just have to wait and see, man. You just have to wait and see
Right,
how the market is going to open up because this is really that kind of sideways news where they exceeded their commercial expectations, but at the same time it was like, okay, it didn't really hit the balance sheet as hard as it could have. So
right, right,
we're gonna have to just see what the sentiment is tomorrow. Are people gonna want to stick around or you know bail out? So it's just kind of one of those things where you
right.
just have to wait and see.
And I talked to James, man, and basically, and this stock did it again, man. So it got up to 50 cents,
Hmm.
and I should have just sold, and it dropped back down to 30, got back in again. I should have just kept recycling the money. So I think I should just do that.
Yeah.
But then again, from what the conference call today, it doesn't look like the FDA news may not be coming out. They don't know when the FDA news is going to come out. So it's all speculative about how this is going to happen. So I hate to take my $2,800 and run, but the problem is with the share builder, you have to hold a stock for a certain amount of days, as far as having that money to cover. So if I take out all that money and then put $7,000 back into it, I got to have that money to cover it in order to pull it back out again. So I mean, I'm almost like in a bind a little bit, with I don't know. I mean, it's something to think about. I mean, let me see where I'm at right now. I think I'm up 2,700, so 2,800. It's just one of those
Yeah.
situations that I don't like to be in, and
No,
I'm not asking for no.
I totally understand. I mean, to go from 5,000 to 28, I mean, but dude, if you get another chance to hit 60, get the fuck out of that stock, man. I mean, just get your
Right,
money
right, right.
and get the hell up out of there if you get another chance at 60. I
Right,
think it
right.
was frustrating to, I didn't listen to the call, but if they said that now, FDA news is up in up in the air, that's frustrating to hear because, now.
Well, they don't know when it's coming. As far as FDA to come out. So basically, they're out of all the products they have, the estimate was based off one product or a couple of products. So that 2 million, that 1.2 million dollars,
Mhm.
that was only the sales of a couple of products. It's not even including the stuff that they're waiting for FDA approval on.
Right.
Um, so I don't know how many day traders are in this stock, and if it fluctuates back down to 30 cents again, I'm going to be pretty upset because I should just go ahead and take the 2,800, get back in at 30 cents, and keep riding it back up and down. Because and this is another thing for you new traders out there. Once you in a stock, it's basically you buying a new house, and once you sit in the house for a while, you know how the house functions. You know where it's going to creak at. You know how it's going to sound if you yell. So I know how this stock is going to run, but the problem is when. So I don't think it's a pump and dump, but definitely it's a lot of day traders in there that come in and catch that momentum. And because I didn't trade on the momentum, I got caught up in this buying. But
Right.
so right now my high shares are sitting at 44 cents, and most of my shares are sitting at 2 cents.
Okay.
So I decided to buy in again. So I can sell the 4,000 shares that I picked up at 44 cents and get that little profit and just hold on to the 22-cent shares.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's just um, something that I've been thinking about. But let me let me talk about a ticker here since we I haven't talked about one in a couple of days.
Okay.
That I know you just talked about OTC plays. Oh, it's OTC. You know what? With the candlestick readings that I've been doing, I think they've been pretty accurate. So let's go ahead and talk about ARTH. So Alpha Romeo Thomas Kilo.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, but you see, no, I actually like this one because it's got volume. Yeah, when I look at the chart, I'm not seeing like the last caller or the last guy in the chat room. It's got a few gaps, but it's full. You know what I'm saying? They're actual buys and sells here, so I like that.
right, right, and with that on December, not December, we're looking at August. So August 4th, it had a red day, but August 5th, it had a huge green day, which that's a bullish engulfing pattern, and then engulfed that whole candlestick, which will call for which will cause the stock to rise. Now, if you look at the MACD, I don't know. I'm looking at a 3 month chart, day chart. It's
Okay.
getting ready to cross there. Um, so I think this. In my opinion, I think this is going to go up tomorrow. But the problem that I'm looking at as far as the risk versus reward, um, I'm looking at um, what we're looking at as far as the first or second resistance. Where do you see the resistance level at? Because typically people call resistance at different levels.
Yeah.
Um, Possibly 79 cents or 94 or 95. Let me see, 94, 95 cents.
Okay.
Um, so, anyways, where do you see the resistance level at for this particular piece?
Well, I mean, I'm taking a little bit of a shorter view on that, and when I go in a little bit shorter, I'm seeing it at about 76 cents. So because it ran up to 76 and it failed, or almost 76, maybe like 75 and a half, and it failed it twice on July
Right.
25th and then July 27th, and it came back down. So for me, that's where I would see resistance because I always take resistance as the most
Yes, you're right.
the most recent strong high, and that's the most recent strongest high, and it
Yes.
attempted it two times. And if you know, that's that that right there, it's already called the double top. So that would have told you right there to sell anyway. But And
Well, it has. Well, I mean, so it came up once. Okay, so I'm looking at on 727. It looks like it hit once,
mhm.
and we're looking at the 75 cent range, and so basically it's a bearish engulfing pattern. So the 727 engulfed the green candle, which caused it to go down. Now on 8.5, you have a bullish engulfing pattern, which caused it to go back up, and it hasn't retested the 74 cent range. But I guess if it exceeds the 74 cent range, I can see it progressing forward to the top of that Bollinger Band. Hopefully, it hits the top of the Bollinger Band. But if we don't break 95 cents, which is the 52-week high, then I call that second resistance level at 94 cents. So anyway, you get what I'm getting at with
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
right?
No, no. I see what you're saying. I mean, if it breaks 74, you're going to have a lot of new money coming into the stock because they're going to be able to see that as well. So,
Right.
at that price, yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to jump on something that will be going in the right direction if it breaks that 74 level. That's a very, very important level for this stock in the last month and a half.
Right. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that one. But that's my call for tomorrow. I mean, I know it's going to go up. I mean, especially with the way the candle signals are looking at right now.
Okay.
But it just we're getting so close to that 52-week range mark. I mean, I don't know how much further we can go.
Right.
Let's talk about the AGBI, the AJBI.
Okay.
Now, this stock here, remember, it's another OTC play, but it's been fluctuating. It's that I call it the recycle play. Remember I told you about this a long time ago?
Yeah, I do remember you speaking about it. Looks like volumes dried up a little bit. I mean, now it's just a situation where it
Where's
looks
it?
like it just kind of needs some news out about it. And
87. Okay, yeah, I see the volumes dried up, but yeah, it's always been pretty good with the gains, with the 10% gains and stuff like that.
yeah,
So anyway, yeah, it's all right. It's not the best thing.
yeah, no, it's
I'm
not.
sorry. Yeah. So, and you talk about the IMUC, man. I looked at that and it didn't really have any good candle signals. I really called support at 18 cents.
Okay.
It looks like it broke through the support level. Now
Right.
it's down to 13.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, is 13 like the new low, or is that like an opportunity for like a really big bounce back up to 17? I wouldn't mind that either. But what's the chance of
Actually,
that?
you know what? Tomorrow will be so there's another new oscillator that I've been learning about. It's called ADX. Now, don't ask me what it stands for, but from what I've learned is you take the number ADX. So you take the number from the like today, which is at 22, and you subtract it from the previous day. Basically, it tells you how much of the what do you call it? How much force, how much of the trend, how much force is coming towards you, like the wind.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go into the wind at full force
Mm-hmm.
because you're just pushing against it. You want to wait till it settles down. So it shows you how much trend is there. So for that to hit down there at 13, 12 cents, it's going to bounce back up.
Mm.
Look at that big gap down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's no indicators yet for a reversal at this time. So I don't even know why it made a big fall like this.
Well, I mean, it offered a public offering. I mean, it basically, wrote up 47 million new shares, and it priced them at 16 cents, which was a penny under its already going rate. So, if you were an investor, your thing is, oh, I'm getting the hell up out of here. So, that's basically what happened because if you were already an investor, your shares kind of got diluted today. So it's a good opportunity to jump in now, but if you were in it before, it was every reason to sell. So now trading at 13 cents here, I would wait the next at least couple of days and see if people are actually jumping up to grab some of these, or is this a situation where 13 cents is the beginning of a possible slide down to 8, 9, 10, or even lower.
Mm. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. Definitely be
Yeah.
something to look at. I hate to miss out on an opportunity to jump back up to 20 cents.
Yes,
You
yes.
know,
Oh, of
so
course, of course. Because these, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, because these stocks, that do things like this, that break down to now 10 cents, 11 cents, they become the future, PTXs, the future, ANTHs of the world. If you look at, that ANTH, or, or what was that? Like the one you gave us, ARTH,
uh,
right?
ARTH, yeah.
Yeah, ARTH. Their 52-week low was 16 cents. So when stocks break down that low, that's actually an opportunity for a smart investor who's willing to be a little bit patient to get in at a really dirt cheap price. And then imagine if you had bought that at 16 cents, and now when you talk about the stock you mentioned earlier, ARTH, now you're at 71 cents. You've what, 10 times your money practically. So, uh, you know, those are opportunities that you got to be able to be, an investor who wants to hold for some time. But at 13 cents, depending on what your investment horizon is, you could make a ton of cash in a
Whew.
stock like that. You
Right,
know?
right. And I've never caught a stock like this where I caught the bottom of it and rode it back up. I mean, I'm always catching in the shit at the last minute. So I'm hoping, I'm gonna keep my eye on this IMUC. But I thought it was gonna really hold support at 18 cents. But like I said, the stocks that I pick is based on non-news, and so when news like this hits, it puts me up in the bind because um, I don't expect it. So what I'm learning next is how to set my stop losses,
Mm.
and so I can have some type of discipline. So I don't have enough discipline yet, but basically, I should have did the paper trading like you said at first, but I'm hard headed, and so a hard head makes a soft ass, and and so I'm taking my licking. So tomorrow's gonna be a day of deciding whether I should put my stop loss in at 48 cents, or should I just ride this shit on out because I know it's not gonna hit zero. I know it's gonna ride up again, but
Yes.
hell, that $5,000 loss, man. I mean, I'm not upset about it, but it's something that I needed to experience. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Anyways, I ain't gonna take up too much of the show, man. But I'm appreciative of the time that everybody has allowed me to yell and speak today. So, you got any more things you want to talk about, man?
Off the top of my head, no, man. And enjoy your vacation. I know you're really soaking it up out there. So, but yeah, those, what you just, gave us today, those were some really good OTC plays and have a really good potential to, jump up. So,
Yeah.
IMUC, you definitely put that back on the radar for some people. But like I said, man, when you get those stocks starting to, 10 cents, 11 cents, 13 cents, that's an opportunity for somebody can jump in. And if they're patient enough, man, we can be, talking about this next year or even in a couple months, at 70, 80, 90 cents. So it all depends.
And from what I'm seeing here, a lot of these guys only stand for 3 or 4 days, man. I mean, they don't. I don't think these long-term plays are for me. I would like to hit some plays and get my 10 or 15% in 3 or 4 days and move on, But I, this INFV is my first long-term play, and so it's kind of disappointing. Here it is. I'm watching everybody making money, and I'm sitting on the sidelines waiting on this shit to pop off, and I'm getting like the fireworks show is like
Well,
sparkles, and
Floyd.
snap.
I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, you made money in it. It's just that at the time, you thought it wouldn't go back to these levels. So, I mean, you
Right.
learned firsthand that you can make money in these cheap stocks. That you get dirt cheap. You be a little bit patient, and you get up to the outside, and then you let them go for big returns. Your situation was
Right.
that you just held it a lot longer than you probably needed to. But now, I mean, that's just facts. That's facts. But
Right.
hey, we working our way back up there. If you get another chance at 60, now hey, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
It's out of here, right? Exactly, exactly. So yeah, man, I really appreciate it. And you've gone for a couple of days. So what's going on with this show, man? Is it Monday through Friday, or is it what's it?
No, I
I mean, you
mean,
got these hours up.
yeah, what it's going to be, I'm going to take the hours down, but it's going to be Wednesdays. I'm going to be doing the Wednesday show. This is probably going to be the only show till Friday, but it's going to be Wednesday and Friday, and I think that works best, man, because even tonight's going to be a short night till 10, but it's just got to be a situation where I love bringing and delivering and offering people the opportunity to talk about stocks they're doing, but I never want it to feel like work. You know what I'm saying? And when it starts to feel like
Right.
work, then it's just like it's not fun no more. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and
Well,
I think once a night is good enough. Once a
right. Well,
week,
I tell
yeah.
you what, man. There's an app, and actually I was on StockTwit, and it's called Discord. So
Okay.
these people invited me to their room. It's called Penny Traders or something like that. But Discord is an app, and it's continual chat. Remember, I told you that you should have a group where people can come in and chat all night, and you can
Okay.
be the moderator or have other people be the moderators. But
Okay.
right now, I'm in these guys' group here, and all they're doing is just talking about stocks or it's called the Penny Room.
Okay.
So I'll send you a link to that. But basically, this app here is just a continuation where people can, you wake up in the middle of the night and you want to, see what Mr. Lloyd is talking about, or Miss Hathaway, what she's wearing at night, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm just kidding. But anyways, so yeah, man, you should check it out, man. Just a good way where if you don't make it on the show, this is just another way to communicate and get the word out without or have other people moderate or whatever the case may be.
Okay. I'll definitely look into Discord. I did know Jay brought that up too. So now that I've heard both of you guys talk about it, I need to seriously check it out.
Right. Okay. Well, everybody have a good night, and we'll take a look at RATH and IMUC tomorrow and see how it does, and I'll be listening in.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the call, man.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
All
Bye.
right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Lloyd, long time listener, long time listener, and always giving out some really good advice, and real genuine guy, by the way, real genuine. A lot of people aren't able to come up and talk about the fact that they lose money on something because you read a lot of these websites, Twitter. Sometimes I go on Twitter, I swear nobody loses a trade on Twitter. That's why sometimes when I go into these chat rooms, they're so full of shit. That's why I don't do the whole chat room during the day and all that crap because most of these guys are so full of shit. They're just so full of shit, man. 978, what's going on with you?
Hello?
What's going on? 978, you're on the air.
Am I on the small cap penny stock, the small cap millionaire?
Yep, you're on live. What's good, man?
Who's talking right now?
All right, man. Just another bitch ass nigga
Get
on the
out of
phone.
here, you damn nigga!
Another bitch ass nigga on the phone. Get up out of here, man. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Anybody else got some good stocks to talk about? Anybody else got some good stocks to talk about? Uh, yeah, always some corny ass World of Warcraft playing motherfucker calling up. What's going on? GEVI? Let's see. GEVI. All right. Let's see here. GEVI. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely a OTC play. I mean, it barely has any. That's G. What's going there? Is it about to be pumped or something? Man, that stock needs a lot of help, man. Tell them to hit me up. That stock needs a whole lot of help. Oh, GEVO. Okay, GEVO. That's what you meant. That's what you meant. Let's check that out. Treasure Hunter, what's good?
What's up, man? I was waiting for that sound effect. It's been a little minute.
Yeah. I was waiting for some bitch ass motherfucker to call up, and sure enough, we got one of these, the Sims type dudes to call up, and he got it. So
about time.
yeah.
Hey, But no, I was. This one goes out about Lloyd. I remember when he said that he was coming to Florida on a plane from Orlando, and he was talking about the allergy in the water and want to know about a ticker and all that for it. I was going to say he's a little late because I live in Florida, and I think months ago, and I called your show
Mm.
that it is a company that's cleaning up the allergy, but they not public traded on the market kind of thing. And I
Okay.
forgot the ticker for it, but like I said, it been months ago, so
Okay.
who knows? They might public might can buy a stock, or might can buy a stock.
Okay.
Because I remember it because I said, damn, that's gonna go off like go off like a rocket. They
Yeah.
finally got a company clean up this allergy. Shit, let me get in. And then when I finally got the ticker on, I got the name of the company, got the ticker, and it wasn't public traded. Public couldn't buy it. I was like,
Oh, okay. So
shit.
it's one of those kind of like, private for private
Yeah,
investors. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You said it. You said it.
Okay.
And it was only that one company that was doing it too. Well,
Yeah.
that I know of at the time. Not now it's not that bad, because they got it kind of under control.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, at that time, I definitely tried to hop on that.
Now, Treasure Hunter, you live in like South Florida, right?
South Florida. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
let me see, by Palm Beach,
Okay.
Miami.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey, 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 talk about this little gosh, what's that disease again? I talked about on
Oh, that
Friday.
about the
Um,
that's another thing I want to talk about that mosquito stuff.
ah,
They
God, what's the
put
name of that disease, man? Oh, man, it's on the tip of my
um
tongue, man.
what's the name of that you talk
Uh,
about the mosquitoes thing?
yeah, what's
Zika.
Zika? There we go. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's got to be
yeah,
a Zika stock, man. I know
yeah.
Blueberry had Jay had mentioned one. I don't know if I didn't write it down or what. I can't remember, but
Well, I was gonna say that's kind of it's still around, but that's kind of played out too
you think
because,
so?
like I said, well, I'm over here in Florida, and they constantly like got trucks spraying like nonstop.
Okay.
So I mean, like the allergy, the mosquitoes, like I was already on top of all that,
Uh-huh.
so it's kind of played out. So I'm
Okay.
like doing new things like technology, computers, kind of, and the clothing wear with the school stuff.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, yeah, because all that shit, I already did it, done it, and
Sure. Sure.
so every time I hear it come up on the show, I'm like, man, I gotta tell the fellas, or that's
Yeah.
already played out,
I hear you.
gotta get something new, you know.
All right,
But
man.
yeah, just for you guys in on it, because like I'm over here in Florida, and did it, done it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for the call, bro.
Yep, you got it, bro. Anytime.
All right, so Treasure Hunter said Zika's really kind of played out down there. I mean, people are just, his situation where he might just be over it. The conversation of it. But for those of you guys who don't live in Florida, who don't live in South Florida, particularly, that whole Zika stuff might be still a concern for you. It might still be a concern for you. Now we have people in the chat room talk about Givo. Givo's a beautiful chart right now, man. If you look at Givo. Look at a GIVO chart. Spread it out a little bit. Go out like a year. Go out like a year on GIVO. GIVO is at resistance at 75 cents. They're literally right there for the breakout. They're literally right there for the breakout. So GIVO just needs like one good day. It needs like one good day to really just, you know what I'm saying? So GIVO is right there. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. GIVO has tested this level before. I'm looking at the stock right now, and we know that everything that happens in the chart will eventually happen again. Okay, these are not new things. Okay, I really believe in chart history and patterns, and being able to redo itself. And whoever just called 978 or something like that, call back. I'm not sure. Call back. It rang like one time. But GIVO is right where it needs to be. It's right where it needs to be. So we'll have to figure out. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for GIVO. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for GIVO. Um, did earnings come out? Hold on, it did come out. Let me see. Ah, shit. Okay, it didn't do so hot. It didn't do so hot. Ah, shit. Ah, shit. All right, let me take this call real quick. 978, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
You're on the show.
All right. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on HTBX?
What do you like about it?
It's going. It got a lot of hype right now. Going into the earnings on Thursday, I'm feeling it could break out to like 250, and then it's gonna get bought out soon also.
Okay. Now, what what's caused it to run these last couple of days? I do see here, we were talking about a 70-cent stock a couple of days ago, and now we're at
Yeah.
178. What's the hype been about?
They're getting bought out. There are rumors about being bought out soon, and all these analysis putting average price targets up at like 538 in the next coming months or the year.
Okay.
So there's a lot of hype right now for it.
Okay. All right. And you're saying 250 is a possibility for. I do see here, yeah, the earnings is in a couple of days. Now, I see here estimates 23 cents a share. Do you expect it to beat earnings or meet?
Yeah, so like I was gonna hold it into earnings, but like after I saw what happened at WGBS, I just got a little like scared now. So like I'm not really sure what to do
Okay.
because this is my first time I had a stock going into earnings, so I'm just starting out, and I just don't know what to do because I know it's a good stock, but I don't want to miss out if I sell.
Right. That's really I mean, and that's wow, that's right around the corner, man. Wednesday. I mean, obviously the stock, the company could get bought out by Wednesday, but what's the chances of that? So I guess you've got a real, decision to make in the next couple hours here, when you think about it. But
Yeah.
where are you leaning at right now when it comes to HTBX? Are you going to hang into earnings, or are you looking to sell before?
Like I made a lot of profits on the stock already, so like I might as well just lock in like half profit, let the rest ride out. I might take that half profit and go to SPHX because that's also looking pretty good right now
Mm.
after the earnings, and might just do that.
Now you mentioned another stock just now. What was the ticker?
SPHS.
SPHS. Okay, we've talked about SPHS. Yeah, so fires. Okay, yeah, that's been another runner here recently that's spiked up huge, and
Yeah, and the after hours. Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. That was definitely crazy, and that's been an amazing run these last 2 months. I mean, you've gone from basically a dollar something to practically 500% or really 800% gains depending on where you got
Yeah.
out. So that
Yeah.
it just goes to show how impressive penny stocks can go. But yeah, man, thanks for the call, bro.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I mean, great play, great play. I really like that stock. I really do. And HTBX has got a chance, man. HTBX. When you look at HTBX and the other one he just talked about, SPHS, they look kind of similar. The similar kind of setup from the first couple days of the stock. Now, of course, I'm not going to say HTBX is going to do the same thing because SPHS didn't have earnings around the corner. They didn't, from what I know, have any kind of buyout rumors. So we'll see. All we can do is see. That's all we can do is see. Going back to Givo, guys, that was a horrible, horrible um, earnings that it put out today in Givo. So Givo's in trouble. If that's horrible. That is horrible. I mean, I'm looking at these second quarter financial results. Net loss per share of 44 cents. That's huge. That's huge. Okay, revenue 8 million. Yeah, revenue of 8.1 million, but look at that. Loss from operations $5.5 million. Ladies and gentlemen, that's for the quarter. That's for the quarter. Okay? So, if we're talking 4 quarters, you're talking about a company that's maybe losing, 22, 23, 24 million dollars a year. So, but then again, you can say, well, that's why it's at, the price where it's at. Well, okay. Well, will market sentiment justify, you know, 52 to 75 in 4 days tomorrow? Will it open up justifying what it's done in the last 4 or 5 days? Based on what I just saw, I don't think so. Based on what I just saw, I don't think so. So if I'm in Givo, I'm trying to get the hell up out of there tomorrow morning. I'm trying to get the hell up out of there tomorrow morning because that was a awful, awful report. I mean, we understand these are OTC play. I mean, not OTC. These are just these are small companies. They're micro cap companies. They struggle, but that right there, that's not showing progression. And what makes these small stocks really move is just showing a little bit of progress. That's what makes these stocks move. If you guys notice, it doesn't have to blow anything out of water. It just has to show progress. Above average revenue, above average, sales, or maybe a new contract here and there. But when you're just losing across the board, that's bad news, man. That's bad news. That's bad news. You don't need to kill it. Just need to show progress. That's why these little stocks can move so big on just, hey, we got a contract worth 100 grand, and these stocks move up 20, 30% because that's progress. That's a business moving forward. And what they put out today, you're talking about a business that's losing money. You know? And then along with the report, they're literally giving, stocks away. June 15th, they closed a public offering with 21 million shares at 45 cents, 45 cents a share. Okay. Now they're just doing these public offerings, diluting people's shares. And sure enough, yes, that did already happen. I get it. But, that shows that the company is selling shares to, make up for these losses. And that's not good for an investor. That's not good for an investor. We just talked about on IMUC what happens when a company, does a stock offering. It typically crashes. It typically crashes. So if I'm in Givo right now, sell whatever profits you have, and then maybe it's a stock that you can come back in the future in a cheaper price. But I will not be surprised if Givo, it might gap up a little bit in the morning, but it's going to be a down day for Givo tomorrow. How far down, I don't know. But when you lose 5% today, based just simply on an anxiety of earnings, just the anxiety of earnings, the stock lost 5%. Now that the news is out, I'm not going to want to be in that stock at all. 253, you're on the air.
Hey, Charles, it's T-Man. How you doing?
Doing good. What's going on with you, man?
Good, man. Figure I'll holler at you before you switch your timeline here.
Yeah. Hey, I think this is your first time calling up the show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my first time hollering at you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, so I'm in PTX right now. It kind of popped today.
Yes.
What you think about that?
PTX, yeah, we talked a little bit about this. PTX, man, this is one of those stocks where it might be trying that dollar one more time. I don't know if you were in it when it ran up that dollar. Were you in it at that time?
Yeah, it ran up. I was holding for 104, and that bad boy dropped on me. I lost like $50 on that bad boy.
Yeah. So it might be trying again. I really love the way it ended today. I mean, it really ended the day strong. And
yeah, it did. I got back in. I only bought 100 shares.
Okay.
Kind of nervous since the last time it dropped.
Sure. Yeah, no, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, it really, and this move happened after lunch, which was really interesting because I didn't see any news or anything like that. I just happened to see it broke my alert that I had set for the stock. I'm thinking this is going to run again, but it kind of ran out of time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens tomorrow with PTX. It's something about to drop here? Is there some news? And these
Yeah,
were
it's got earnings coming up. We got earnings coming up on the 11th.
on the 11th. Okay, so earnings
Yeah.
on the 11th. All right,
Yeah,
but
so that's what I'm
but
holding it for.
these big bars represent big buys, and that typically means that there's something dropping. There's something coming up pretty soon. So the word has dropped about something, whatever it is. I'm not sure what, but that's good news for PTX. So I would not be surprised. This stock has ran before, and what it did, earlier last week, I will not put anything against PTX running to $1 again. Yeah.
All right, yeah, appreciate what you're doing, Sal. You're helping me out, man.
Thank you.
I've only been
Appreciate the
trading
call,
about
bro.
4 months now, so trying to stay in the game.
Thank you. Appreciate the call, T-Man.
All right, take it easy, Sal.
All right. Yeah, shout out to everybody who's in PTX, man. Shout out to T-Man, too, for the first call, man. I know he's in the chat room often. 305, call me back. 305. I'm not sure who that is. Call me back. But yeah, man, PTX could run. PTX could run. We do have earnings on the 11th as well, so just like the other stock. And wow, that's two great stocks with earnings. I mean, PTX and the one we just got done talking about here. Wow, that's really, you got two penny plays that you have a potential to have really good days on. 305, what's good?
Hey, yeah, is this Sal?
What's
up?
up?
I'm fucking with you, man. I was trying to sound like a little chill. Nah, what's up, man? This is Michael 91.
What's going on, Michael, bro?
What's up, man? I see all these trolls. They got you going crazy.
No, man, just one or two here at a time. But when we talking about business, talking about making each other money,
Yeah.
no,
Man.
it's just not
they
time
got
for that.
Better.
You know what I'm saying?
They got nothing else to do, man.
Yeah, we talking about some money right now. So
those are people that are losing in the stock game.
You already know. So what's good with you, man?
I wanted to talk about RNVA right quick, man, because it made a nice little run today.
Yes.
And I don't know. At the end, it picked up a lot of volume. So I wanted what's your take on that? Do you think it'll keep making a run tomorrow?
Well, I think so. I mean, if you look at the stock, all June and July were horrible. I mean, June and July were horrible for the stock. So, this bottomed out that it's done really this last, end of July as it moved, into August. This is basically people who are coming in saying, okay, this is a bargain right here. So, it dropped. I mean, we've talked about over 2 months. It's dropped, 70 cents? So, obviously, it's got some making up to do. Volume was really strong today, 8 million shares. So
yeah, it ended pretty strong.
Yeah, really strong. I mean, so
yeah,
what's going to keep that coming in? That's my question. Because
but what do you think caused that volume at the end? Do you think some news came out at last minute or something, or because that was actually like the biggest volume of the whole day, I believe.
If some news did, I didn't see it. That's the problem. I didn't see it. So I don't want to say somebody put out an email because I haven't seen any proof of that or any example that any emails go out. In fact, let me check my spam folder here. I got almost like 1,000 stock promoters I've signed up to, and I type in RNVA, and okay, here. Yeah, so the emails I'm getting, they're back in July, so, and a couple back in April,
new.
But nothing new. So, yeah, that's not being pumped.
You look throughout the chart, I believe it's reaching like a resistance where it's like how you were talking about Geo, how it's reaching a resistance where, it could be pretty big if it crosses this resistance. I'm not sure if at this point it's reaching that point as well.
Well, it actually broke a recent resistance price because if you look at what happened on the 3rd, if you look at what happened on the 3rd last week, Wednesday, it attempted to hold 35, right? And it couldn't hold 35, and it came back down. So we recently just broke 35 today, so that was really, really good sign. So now,
it's crazy that you bring it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, keep going.
Right. So we'll see what happens tomorrow if this is a serious move and a serious breakout. So But yeah, it
Yeah.
tried to hold 35. It didn't, and we passed 35 today. So we'll see how far it goes.
And that brings my next point, man, about being patient. Because last week is actually when I got in at a pretty high point. And I look back. I saw that video that you were talking about how you can't let your emotions get in the way, and you got to be really patient. And I was actually thinking about getting out and taking my loss, and I just said, you know what, let me sit through it.
Yeah.
And today I actually came out with some gains.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, these penny plays, man. They go down, but they do come back up, especially if it has a history of running. I mean, if you got a stock that's got good volume, it's got interested parties in the stock, it's got real management putting out news. It'll be down, it'll be beat up, but it will make its way, or at least attempt to make its way back to, where you are. So, and you got in. Like, where did you say you got in? Like, eventually,
I got in at 33.
33. Okay,
It was it was at 33.
Okay. Okay.
But the earnings are actually due to come out on the 15th, I believe.
Okay.
On the 15th. So, what's your take on that? Do you think that it'll be positive news, or you haven't really kept up with the?
Yeah, I mean, I
haven't
kept up with the business, but I mean, I do know. Again, it's a software, it's a health software business, and the margins on those kind of businesses are really strong. Software in general, margins are crazy. So, this could be a situation where people are just feeling really, good about it. And when you have volume like 8 million shares, that something is going on here. So, I
Or
don't
could it
know.
just be that it just ran today, so everybody just wanted to get a piece of it?
Well, it could be that, and you could be a situation where people want to get in now before that earnings. As we talked about this today, guys, like, how do you play earnings? And I'm saying, if you're in a situation like a stock like this, when it's so dirt cheap, you get in now and then ride it to earnings. Like you said, you're at 34 cents. Honestly,
33,
33 cents. Honestly, at 33 cents, I don't care what it does from now to earnings. I'm going to stay in just because the stock just bottomed out at 22. Just not even a couple days ago. You could have got this stock for 22 cents, right? So at that price, man, I'm just going to ride into earnings no matter what happens in the future. Now, if we wake up tomorrow morning and it's up, a buck, of course, take your gains. But into earnings, it's going up here, down here, up here. And let's say the day before earnings, you're at 45 cents, 46 cents. Just ride it into the next day and see what happens.
All right, cool. And one more question, man, because I'm in on apps as well, and they released their earnings report. What do you think on that?
Yeah, apps was really sideways for earnings, but revenues were pretty strong. Revenues were strong.
Yeah, I see that they beat revenue.
And yeah, they beat revenue. So I think that's a situation like we're going to have to see what market sentiment says tomorrow. So, it's so sideways. I mean, because it had so much good stuff, but it had, it didn't have any bad things. It just had like, not again, kind of things.
Yeah. They couldn't just beat those.
Right. And it's one of those things where, man, you got great customers, you got some of the best businesses in the world signed up to do business with you. That's got to hit your bottom line, man, and beat these earnings. So it's kind of frustrating with apps, and we'll see what the stock does tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be down. It's not a reason for it to be down. But my thing is that it's not going to be as big of a gain as it would have been if it would have been, a much better, play on earnings. So
yeah, man, I'm stuck up there at the, I believe it's the 20s.
20s? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in the 20s. But then I also bought before the market closed at 112.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see what it does in the morning.
Yeah, we'll see what it does in the morning. I think you'll win on your 112s.
But probably take an L on the other.
Yeah,
I'll probably just let it sit there because from what I read, they're expecting to make at least big moves with Apple and Android.
Yes, they're making some big moves, especially also they're reaching India too. They got the biggest customer
I read that
in
as well.
India. If you guys have an opportunity to read or actually listen to the conference call, they've got some really, really good things coming, ahead for apps. I would just, stay tuned and see what happens. But I think you're going to win tomorrow. It's just, it's just kind of a little bit disappointing because it should be a much bigger win.
Yeah. Whatever. There's always another chance to win big on other stocks.
Definitely.
All right, man. But thanks a lot for everything, bro. We really appreciate it, all the help and all that.
Not a problem. Thanks for the call, man.
All right, man.
Yeah, so it was a mixed bag, definitely a mixed bag. Shout out to that caller too, being an apt investor, trading those stocks and apps. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. In apps. So a lot of great potential plays coming up here, guys. We got a lot of great potential plays coming up. A lot of great potential cheap stocks you can get in. For those of you guys sitting on the sidelines, you got $100, you got a couple bucks. These are some really good plays you can, get involved in and play really, really cheaply. Really, really cheaply. Really, really cheaply. And just see what happens. All right? And just see what happens. Use stock trade, a dollar in, a dollar out. No minimum. Robinhood, you can get in. I think you can use Robinhood. Yeah, of course you can use Robinhood to buy some of these OTC. I mean not OTCs. Excuse me, Nasdaq. Dirt cheap plays, man. Especially RNVA. Robinhood is on RNVA, so you can take advantage of RNVA right now. Definitely. Still trading on Robinhood. That's what's up. Yeah, you can use Robinhood. There's nothing wrong with Robinhood. I mean, you got the PDT rule, but hey, if you make a smart trade or 2 smart trades a week, you can do it. You can do it. The Mario Ware, NAK. Let me see here. Yeah, NAK it's a mineral play. Man, that's a beautiful chart here in the NAK, and which is interesting because it looks like 78, 79 was a really. Looks like 79 had some trouble up there. There's a wall over there at 79. I wonder what the level 2 looked at that price level, but because I don't see that the stock has done that before. Well, it did do something like that before on July 11th. And then it came back down and then tried it again, failed, and then we kind of had that. So we'll see what happens with NAK tomorrow. 70 cents a share. Let me see. NAK. Thinking about NAK, it's been kind of sideways the last week, right? It's been kind of sideways, kind of figuring out what it wants to do. Let me see here. Yeah, that 70 cents level is going to be really interesting because when it gapped up from 68 to 74, and it didn't hold it. So as it's back now at 70, that was pretty much where it gapped up at. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not, it stays over 68. If it doesn't stay over 68, you might be in trouble. You might be in trouble because there's not much of a floor underneath 68. All right, there's not much of a floor underneath 68. Not much of a floor. What's going on, Jerry Williams? JDST. JDST. Oh, look at that stock. 570. What's up?
Yo, Sal, what's up?
What's going on with you? Who am I speaking with today?
This is Chris.
Hey, what's going on, Chris? Got a good stock for us?
What's that?
You got a good stock for us?
Actually, I actually have stock from my old job.
Okay.
Like from the 401k, and it's pretty decent stock. It's at 73.54 right now. And it's probably the highest it's been.
What's the ticker on that?
Actually, I just got into this. The only reason I'm into this is because I got a notice from one of the places to cash it in.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about cashing it in so I have more control over whatever I use my money in, like later on.
Okay.
But there's going to be a huge hit. Like if I cash in, I think I have like $3,400 right now.
Okay.
If I cash in, it's only going to be like $2,100.
So this has to do with your job or something like that? You said?
Oh, it was an old job. I totally forgot I even had the stock. It's like for my old 401k.
I mean, that's
But
just,
they
I mean, do you need the money? Because it sounds like a situation where, man, if it's for your retirement, might as
no,
well just keep
I
doing
don't
that.
need the money. I was thinking actually about doing what you're doing because the only reason I found you is because I looked into how to reinvest this.
Yeah.
So I found you. I found Sykes.
Yeah.
I guess you learned from him,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you,
The
you say
best.
to get his DVDs. And I actually want to. I want to actually put more of my time into that.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, are you willing to take the hit though? Because it seems like you're still kind of iffy on
It's
whether or not
it's
you want to take
it's
it.
yeah, it's going to be a hit. I mean, realistically, it's going to be a hit. But what I actually want to know is there any way to take this and not cash it out and just put it into another account? Like I guess you said TD Ameritrade.
Well, I mean, first of all, it sounds like it's some kind of retirement thing where you're going to take a hit anyway. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's what I was thinking. That's where I need your
yeah.
insight
So
right here.
no matter what you roll it into, accessing the money and being able to do what you want with it, you're going to have to pay some kind of, advance in taxes. So you've got to come to a decision on what whether or not you want to do that. Obviously, I'm sure there's some kind of professional you can talk to about it and whatnot, but you've got to decide whether or not you want to take it. And while
That's
you
why
make up your mind with that, I would study paper trade, watch DVDs until you decide, okay, I want to take this money out.
that's why I took the chance on calling you. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Appreciate the call, bro.
Very good insight.
Not a
Have a good night, sir.
All right, no problem.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with those 401ks and stuff like that, and the money's sitting there, you already know you're gonna make money down the road doing something else. I mean, go ahead and take the money out and and try to see what you can do with it. Try and see what you can do with it. Oh yeah, well Michael Greer said you can borrow against it. That's a pretty good. Depends on what the rate would be, but yeah, you can borrow against it. Well, yeah, being that it'll probably be it'll be a secured loan, so the rate should be dirt cheap, right? The rate should be pretty cheap. You could do that. But my problem with that is that he'd have a monthly payment he'd have to make. So along with the pressure of trading, he's got this monthly payment he's got to make. So in that opinion, what's going on, Stocks and Heels? And that, with that said, I would just take the money out. But before you do that paper trade, learn more about what exactly you want to do, what kind of trader you are. Are you the guy who likes to watch the plays daily, or do you like the 3 to 5 day holds? Do you like kind of what I do, 7 days or more? What kind of trader are you? Learn about yourself first. Learn about the kind of stocks you like. 2 to 5. Do you like under $1? Uh, you know, some guys like to scalp, just like L.K. Rogers said. Some people just like to scalp. 25 here, 30 there, 40 there. Or maybe you figure out yourself. You know, yeah. Yeah, yeah, Brad. I'm not a big thing on like secured lending, um, especially I don't know. I mean, if it's for business purposes, I do it all the time. When it comes to talking about the credit thing, and that's a whole different other topic. But just borrowing on by yourself, securing it and borrowing against it, I don't see what the point is. It's like you're paying interest to borrow your own money. I don't get it. GPIW, yeah, GPIW was just a 1 day pump, man. I mean, for me anyway. They hired me to send out that email. They paid me $5,000 for it, and that was it. I mean, that's my part of it. I told you guys last week on the show I wasn't, I haven't bought any position in GPIW. It was a pump. It's out there, and whatever they do is whatever they do. But read my disclosure. I didn't buy no part of it. I just got paid to send the email. That's it. So what are your thoughts on personal line of credit to invest? I don't like the idea of the personal line of, well, Enoch, maybe it's too deep to talk about business credit and all that right now, but I don't like using a personal line of credit to invest. No, I'm not. No, not at all. Especially if you're just starting out, because you're going to lose, because you haven't done this before. You don't really know what you're doing. You're going to lose. So not only are you going to lose the money, but now you're going to owe somebody money. I'd rather just use what you have, no matter how little it is, and build from there. I don't see why it's so hard for people to believe you can start with $500. I mean, if you can't win on $2,500, why not start at $500? I had a guy email me the other day. He's like, I started with $5,000, and man, I'm down to $1,500. I'm like, dude, once I crashed 4,000, and I realized I got a 4,000 left, and I just lost $1,000, I would take 3,000 and just put it somewhere and say, okay, this is $1,000. I'm going to work from here. Baby steps, yes, just like Stockton Hill says, baby steps. Challenge yourself to start with $500. There are some people who just make a profit, man. You know how hard it is for some people just to make a profit? I mean, like $2, $3. These people, they struggle with patience. They struggle with just anxiety, and they just can't do it, man. Yeah, that's what's up, David K. Yeah, man. Take $500, play with these little pennies out here. Pay with these little pennies. You got U-Stock Trade, you got, all these other brokers out here you can use. Just play with that and see what you can do. That's what's up, Job Warrior. That's what it's about, man. Yeah, the power of compounding, man, works, man. The power of compounding. Go Google that, man. Learn how that really helps you. That really, really helps you. WMIH on Robinhood, yeah. Yeah, Robinhood too is another broker. No cost broker. Drop $500, play the pennies in Robinhood. You can't trade every single day, but you can make 2-3 good trades a week and see what happens. Okay. Yeah. PRZM. PRZM. 27 cents. PRZM. Okay. Yeah, PRZM is just I got to find out what's going on with the volume there, because typically, when you're talking about NASDAQ penny plays, they're always going to be very, very liquid typically. Very, very, very liquid. So it's really interesting to see PRZM and it be so light like that, especially for what the company does, right? This is the play with the IP, right? Play, right? The intellectual property play, if I'm correct. They've sued like a bunch of companies and whatnot. So it's really interesting to see. 330, you're on the air.
Yo, what's up, Sal? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
This Sinclair. I was calling because I wish I would have caught that show you had a couple of days ago when you was talking about relationships and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I just got to it today, and I was like, man, why wasn't I watching the show when he was talking about that?
Yeah.
I got a whole book to talk about that, but the reason for my phone call is because I just heard you say, like, just how, you could start with 500 and things like that, man, and that reminded me of, like, when I first took my biggest hit in the stock market, man. I forgot to put in my my puts as far as, you know, to go down to a certain amount just to sell off.
Okay.
And, you know, I just wanted people to know, man, you know, because sometimes you get into watching Tim sites and you see the Ferraris and you be like, I'm putting it all in, baby. You know, and the best thing that worked for me, and I know that it worked because I don't know that much, but I always keep this rule, and it always keeps me above water. Is just basically to scale in. I learned that from reading books from, remember I told you about, I read books from Jim Cramer.
Yes.
Is just scaling in. Like if that stock goes back 30 cents or 20 cents, put a little bit more into the stock, but always have a price point where you say, okay, it ain't supposed to go there. Right. And you're just totally off the market of that stock. You really, really want to cover your ass, man, because even though I took that big hit back in 2008,
right.
And for me to still talk about it, it just was, it had me shook like crazy. And I forgot to put it, I asked my girl, I said, did you put in a stop put? She said, I didn't hear you said put in a stop put. And what happened was the stock went down so fast, and I never forget the stop because it was my first time taking a hit like that. And you don't remember that. You usually don't forget that big punch. Yeah. You know, when your ass get knocked out. Right. And it was the stock LNG.
Okay.
And that natural gas play, and what happened was I read Jim Cramer's book, and he was saying whenever somebody file a lawsuit on a stock, get the hell out of there. And what happened was the stock was falling so quick, I was like, damn, let me check the news. And I couldn't find no news. And I was telling my guy, I said, did you put the stop put in? She's like, I don't remember you saying nothing like that. I said, yeah, you're supposed to put that in. And I checked, and the thing was down by like half.
Damn.
And then that's when I found the news when it said LNG is supposed to be being sued or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when it dropped like that, news was coming out about it's probably a good time to get back inside of LNG. And by that time, I was mad as hell. I was like, I can get back inside that shit, you know?
Right.
But then that's when it went all the way back. But this was all the way back in 2008, man. So all I would say is just that make sure if you don't know nothing else, because this is I never say to myself, this is how much I can get, this is how much I want to win. I always say, how much do I want to lose? Worst case scenario. I always look at things from the bottom on up. You know, so I'll say something like, okay, I'm up $500 this week. I'm up $1,000 this week. And so I'll say something like, okay, I'm going to put half of my position back on, like if I sell out. And right here I'm out, so this week I'm still up $500, or this week I'm still up $250. Even if I'm wrong, I'm not going to give them back all their money.
Right.
Like right now, Sal, I'm looking to get back in the spread. So I'm like, okay, because I sold out, I made some money, and I said, okay, how can I get back in this damn stock? So I already got it set for, I'm going to put my first put in, like at 104. I mean, my fault, $6 or $6.04, because I'll be reading that chart. But once it get down to like if it get down to 590, I don't know if I find the news on time or not. I gotta go because I can't get the market back what I done already won.
Sure.
So I would just say that, man, and back to what you were saying a couple of days ago on the air. Your biggest investment, man, this is what I always tell my homies, man. I always tell them, I say, your biggest investment is not real estate. It's not stocks. It's not a bond. It's your relationship.
Yeah.
Whoever you decide to kick it with, that's going to be your biggest investment because that shit will drop faster than any stock. It'll crash faster than any real estate deal. So, you know, I mean, I heard you talking about that, man, and I heard you talking about real wealth. And I was like, damn, I'm mad that I missed this damn show. I would have been blowing up this phone. But your biggest investment is who you laying with, for real. I mean, I heard Warren Buffett say that.
Right.
They asked him a question, and he was like, your biggest investment is who you lay with. And not Steve Jobs, but the computer guy, what's his name? Not Apple, but Microsoft. Bill Gates. Yeah. Bill Gates. They said before he even got with his wife, he was asking her what did she score on her test.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my brother, man. I mean, he got his master's. He's on his way to law school, and I tell him all the time. I said, man, if you get with that girl, she's gonna be your worst investment. She's gonna be your worst investment, dog. She will bring all that time you put into the books. If you got the wrong girl on your team, nigga, she'll bring that down quick. You know, I said, just listen to your big brother on this one. She's not the one. So I wanted to just collaborate on what you said a couple of days ago on air, man. That was some real shit that you said, though, for real.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. I mean, we'll delve on that on Friday too. So this Friday is gonna be real interesting because I'm gonna try to broadcast from my girl's crib. So that's gonna be really interesting. So we're gonna see how that goes down because we might have some other ladies in the house. So we'll see what that. I'll see. We'll see. We're still putting that together.
I'll be tuned in. Sal, I'll be tuned in, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Yep. Talk to you in a moment.
All right, guys. That's Sinclair. Good call. And going back to the subject at hand. Yeah, I mean, start off small, guys. Start off small. I don't want to take the subject that way. We'll dwell for that Friday. That's the Friday show. And okay, I think this might be James Bond. 702. What's up?
What's up, man? This is Bond. How you doing, man?
Bond. What's good with you, man?
Oh, man, everything's good. I don't know if you saw Gail today. Gail took a nose dive, end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like I said before, people are bringing up, that old news about, the phase three trials. Now, the thing about that is that, I don't know if you noticed, but Gail has a huge short position on it right now. I think it's like about 17.6 million shares shorted. And what happened is that basically today was the last day to cover. And if you look at the after hours, Gail had dropped down, I think like 15%, whatever, before the after the what you call it, the conference or whatever, the phone, whatever you call it, the meeting, whatever. Mm-hmm. It dropped 15%. Because what happened, people wasn't paying attention. They was thinking about that July situation where they ended the phase 3 trials.
So you're saying that there's some shorters who are trapped in there, and you think they're about to get squeezed the hell out of there?
About to get murdered. Probably start tomorrow, man, because like I said, it's 17.6 million shares short, right? And they have 0 days to cover because today was the last day. Essentially, was the last day to cover. Yeah. They didn't cover, and if you look at the after hours, the stock rebounded. Yeah. It rebounded kind of hard. It's like 44.5 cents. I think it was 46 cents, and it went down to 44 and a half. Mm-hmm. But what's gonna happen in the morning? It's gonna be a short squeeze tomorrow. I can smell it coming, man, a mile away.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I mean, and those earnings that it posted up today too was impressive, very impressive. We talked about this early. Gail beat earnings today, so
big time, man.
Again, the analysts were expecting the stock, to lose money this year, and they made an income 3 cents a share profit. Yeah. So that's
exactly
huge news. That's huge.
But see what happened is that people couldn't let go of that phase 3 situation. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't let go of the phase 3 situation, but that's something we already knew about. But what happened? All of the shorters were like pumping that phase 3 situation. It was all over the board. It was all over the board trying to do a bear raid, mm-hmm. on the board. Trying to shift the opinion, but like I said before, I mean the fact is the fact. I mean there's a huge short position in play here, and tomorrow I'm suspecting that it's going to be the beginning of the what you call the covering, because like I said, there's no more time left, to cover your shorts. Yeah. And I guess they was hoping that I think they was hoping that they would miss earnings, and then they would be able to exploit that, but that didn't happen today because, like I said, it was basically the earnings was a surprise. Mm-hmm. And once people wrap their head around it, especially after hours, you realize, hold on a second, now you had an earning. I mean, they had positive earnings, and then it's a short position. And they also mentioned the fact that Roche is joining the clinical studies, mm-hmm. along with Gail. So it's going to be massive. I mean, and if you look at the pipeline, they got an insane pipeline. I think like seven or something drugs in the pipeline. Mm. So I don't know. But talking about Prism now,
because you and I spoke about Prism in the past,
Yes.
and like I said before, Prism situation is the fact that, like I said, intellectual properties, they basically sued on intellectual properties. They won a lawsuit against AT&T. They won a lawsuit against Sprint. Now, the situation with Sprint is that Sprint went ahead and appealed the decision. I think it was a few months back. They appealed the situation. So what happens is that they went back to court, and I guess the judge supposed to come up with a ruling on that, on the Sprint situation. And if they're successful, which I believe they will be, they said they put as far as the price tag around $3 a share.
Mm-hmm.
Because they was talking about a $30 million as far as lawsuit. It was $30 million lawsuit against Sprint. So when you add that $30 million into the market capitalization, do the math. So and like I said before, Prism has been my ace in the hole, man. That's where I make my money.
Okay.
Because if you look at Prism, like I said, if you look at the Prism for the past month or so, it would run a week. It would run about 3-4 days, and it'll pop. Then it'll come back down, give it a couple of days to pop up again. And the next week, the same thing again. And usually, look at the volume. The volume is not really high, but when it runs. I mean, when it ran to 69 cents, it was like 1 million shares traded that day.
Mm.
And like I said, Gale moves on low volume, man. It runs on low volume. And what's good about it is when you put your sell order in it, it always execute. Even though it's running low volume, if it's up high, you put your sell order, it'll execute.
Okay.
So that's a real good sign. It's not gonna be like buying a stock and stuck in it. You can't sell it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my play tomorrow is definitely Gale, because I think that short squeeze is coming. I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm digging up as much info as I can now, and I'm seeing that, yeah, man, this is definitely got some people trapped up in there, and that's some really good news on
Yep.
I had no idea they were coming up with earnings after closing today. I had no idea that.
At the 5. And what's funny about it, as far as people short, if you notice, especially at the end of the day, there was so many bashers on the stock twit today, bashing Gale like crazy, all kind of stuff. They're coming all angles. I mean, these are people. I mean, I think they're actually physically scared of what's going to happen to them.
Mm.
Because, like I said, if this thing go in the short squeeze tomorrow, it can go up to $4 or $5. And I'm not saying it's going to stay there, but it's going to pop.
Right.
And because, like I said, you figure the average amount of shares traded on Gale is like 8 million shares traded per day.
Mm-hmm.
And today was like 2 million, and we know that it's a 17.6 million shares short. So once they have to cover that, that's going to be like by twice the volume, the average volume.
Yeah, I'm already seeing some of the people on Twitter talking a little bit about it, but that's okay. Interesting.
Yeah, keep your eye on that. Definitely keep your eye on that tomorrow, man. And there's some naysayers out there, but it's okay. I mean, I'm going to make the money on Gale, no doubt.
Right.
All right, boss.
Appreciate the call, later, man. All right, thanks a lot.
All right. Yeah, later. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. As always, you guys know this is Mr. James Bond. Oh, crap. I forgot to ask him about zinc. Bond, I forgot to ask you about zinc, bro. So I don't know if you want to talk about where that stock is going, what's going to happen to it. I completely forgot to ask him about zinc. Man, Prism is a nice stock too, but wouldn't you have loved it at 13 cents? Hey, Bond, this you?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, zinc. What's going to happen with this, coming up here?
Like I said, zinc. Zinc. I'm saying it can come out at any time out of bankruptcy because they had what you call it. They had one of these these prepackaged bankruptcies. The quick ones. So, and then like I mentioned before, if you watch zinc always rewards. You know what I'm saying? You buy it when it's low and you're gonna make some money on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one situation where you buy it and watch it, just drop to zero to nothing. And like I mentioned to you guys, about a month ago, zinc went bankrupt due to some mechanical issues in the factory. I mean, they had a deficit as far as in the finance, but the main reason why zinc went bankrupt is because of the defects in the factory, the zinc processing factory in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting about that, like I said before, is that the price of zinc has gone up steadily since then, since they filed for bankruptcy. And like I think the first number I gave, the first figure I gave before was like $4 a share. But that can go beyond that once it comes out of bankruptcy, because once it comes out of bankruptcy, there's going to be a lot of hedge funds going to be buying for their portfolios. And like I said before, if you look at the stock, if it's a stock, usually if the stock is going to go to nothing, like I said, it would have been gone to nothing by now. But zinc is surely, it shows, like I say, it's been having pretty good volume every day. I mean, you have a million plus shares traded a day. I mean, and like I said, I mean, the consensus is that the shareholders are going to get paid, and that's the bottom line. There's people who seem to be stuck on that bankruptcy. If you go bankruptcy, you can lose your money. That kind of they're on that tip. But like I said before, I mean, zinc is a wrap. It's already a wrap. I mean, what only thing you can do now is buy and hold right now. That's the only thing I would say, buy and hold. But if you're one of those guys who need to make money, yeah, flip it. But it's a stock you want to buy and hold, because that's when the real money comes out. Once it comes out of bankruptcy, it's where you're going to make your money.
Now, Bond, I do notice that sometimes when a stock comes out of bankruptcy, they have a tendency to make a new stock, right? So you'll see Zinc Q, which is the bankrupt company that went into, and then it'll come out Zinc, ZINC, right? So, correct. I mean, is that an opportunity for that?
I'm sorry?
Is there a potential that could happen?
Well, that doesn't matter, because the bottom line is like I strongly feel like the share is going to be safe. And just like GGP was GGPQ when it was bankrupt. The shareholders were in GGP. You know what I'm saying? I mean, back then you could buy it at between 40 to 60 cents. And as the bankruptcy progressed, the price of stock was increasing, going up. And that's the same thing going to happen to zinc. The way you can tell that zinc is going to be okay is because over a period of a couple months, you're going to see stock start go into northern territory. Once you see that, once you start passing the 30s and to the 40s and 50s, then you know something's up. And what happened when they come out of bankruptcy, they're going to drop that Q and they're going to go back to its original ticker symbol, zinc. So those who are holding the zinc Q, those zinc Qs going to convert to zinc.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. I mean, that's how it always works. I mean, unless the stock, this is not going to happen. This one, I don't believe it's going to happen. This one, unless you get liquidated, they get wiped out.
Right.
But they're not going to get wiped out. They've been in this situation for a while now, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I do see SDOCQ is up pretty good. Pretty big today, 14% too.
That's another stock.
Yeah,
that's another stock that makes people money, man. No joke.
Yeah, that's a stock that's trading less than a penny. So I mean, it's got.
Yeah.
If you go to 2 cents, you're at 200% on your money. So.
Matter of fact, I think it was like about a week ago, it dropped down to 0.0021.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah, for like a second, and it got snatched up. But yeah.
Exactly. If you had bought at that price, man, you'll be a happy camper today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because and then basically it almost touched a penny today, I think. Almost touched a penny. So folks have to realize, like I said, it's not the size, it's not the dollar amount of the stock, it's the quantity you hold. And like I said, if you can catch it when it's down like that, when it does a reversal, you catch it down at that price, and basically you buy 100,000 shares or 60,000 shares, you sit on it for a day or two until it pops back up into the 8s and 9s. Oh man. That's good money. And like I said, it's a stock that, it's another good stock, because I said when you put sell, it sells. When you put buy, it buys. You can buy it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not only stock you're stuck in. Usually when a company is going bankrupt, and the stock is worth nothing, you can't sell it to save your life. You know what I'm saying? There's no demand for it.
That's very true.
But now when it comes to SDOCQ, what hinges right now is the judge. What a judge allows the equity committee as far as to be part of the negotiations. Once the bankruptcy court approves that, which I believe they will, man, it's going to be a wrap. Man, I mean, no longer are you going to see the sub pennies. You're going to start seeing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cents. Now imagine if you bought at 0.006 or whatever it is, and it goes to 5 cents or 4 cents. That's a lot of money, man. I mean, any way you cut it.
Hell yeah! I mean, like I said, it's so cheap right now that, if you're listening to me right now, SDOCQ, if you've got $30, just go buy some of that.
Exactly.
If you got,
This is common sense.
it's so cheap where it's just like, okay, because just the potential alone, you know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
it might just blow, but if you got like, because what, $30 would be like 3,000 shares or something like that. I mean, just be something
Exactly.
ridiculous like that. So just the
Exactly.
potential alone, and again, it might not go anywhere, but I mean, $30, we've all thrown money at something more stupid and
Okay.
made dumber financial choices. So
Okay. Put it this way. Put it this way. If you don't have the faith that it's going to come out of bankruptcy and the shareholder's going to survive, just flip it. Just do a flip. Just flip it every day. You know what I'm saying? Make your money that way. That way, like I said, it's no harm, no foul.
right.
So that's what I would do. But I'm saying I've researched this stuff enough to know where I believe things are heading. Just like I researched zinc. Just like we talk about UPLMQ, that stock was basically down in the pennies, like the double-digit pennies.
Yeah.
And then look where it is today. That's a bankrupt stock. So folks need to really change the mindset, the way you think. It's not about this a company's bankrupt and you're gonna lose your ass. That's not the case all the time.
Right.
If you do your research, it's tough. If you do your research, then it's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no fair. And like I said, in the meanwhile, you could be making money on that SDOCQ. And you wait till it drops down when it retraces and you get in and you put like a couple $100 in there.
Right.
And and the next thing you know, a day or two, it goes back to almost a penny, and you made a lot of money basically.
That's true.
Just common sense.
That's very true.
But like I said, you guys need to really look at that prism, man. That prism, I have a strong feeling that it's gonna pop hard. Because what happens, I think once they get that money from that Sprint and the AT&T situation, that money gonna go back into the company, gonna go back into market capitalization, and when that happens. You're no longer looking at 27 cents. You're gonna be looking more like $3, $2-3 range. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's I don't know. That's just the way I think about it.
Right.
But anyway, I just had to call back because, like I said, a lot of folks, sometimes I feel if folks are sleeping, man, you give them advice, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying my advice is good for everybody, but I'm saying, like I said, I've been around the block a few times, and I know how this stuff works.
Right.
And especially with that zinc is not going anywhere, man. The shows are not going nowhere. I mean, they're going to be there to the end, to the bitter end. So if you have a couple of dollars, $40, whatever, you can throw something, buy some zinc. Just buy some and keep it on the side. Just build up your position,
That's true.
And like I said, if you're in a situation right now, you're hungry, yeah, flip it. And, because the bottom line is all about making money. And if you think about it, if you're afraid of zinc or afraid of SDOCQ because bankrupt stocks, just flip the hell out of it, man. You can make more money. Basically, if you flip it before it comes out of bankruptcy, the amount of returns is going to be so great. It's not going to matter whether it comes out of bankruptcy in your eyes because you've made, a 20 bagger or a 10 bagger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but anyway, that's all I had to say, buddy. And like I said, one of these folks just hang in there, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, later, bro.
Thanks for the call, James. All right, guys, that's James Bond. He plays those riskier plays, but I mean, the returns are incredible. The potential returns are absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Really want to thank you guys for watching. I want to make these shows real quick to the point. So, I'll be on tomorrow. Be another quick show. But I like these kind of 8 to 10 kind of shows, so that I'm not waking up exhausted and groggy in the morning and stuff like that. So appreciate it, guys. Everybody in the chat room, thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. Gosh, where the hell is my? There we go. Yeah. So apps, we'll see what happens tomorrow, man. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow for apps. We'll see what happens tomorrow for Gale. We'll see what happens tomorrow for SPHS. We'll see for PTX. We'll see what happens tomorrow for so many other of these OTC plays tomorrow. We'll see you guys again back here tomorrow. We'll talk about what happened. Later, guys. Have a good night.